Okay, so I'm I'm back in and I'm getting sort of everything, I guess, moving in the right way, in the right direction. I'm preparing for I guess like the bouncing back. Everyone is, I guess, is trying to get back in sync with me. So as much as I wish I was saying I was getting back in sync with them, I'm kind of like it's like I'm waiting for them to get, I guess, kind of go forward on things. So I think it'll happen. I think that people are finding their way. Now I understand. It's like when you're correct on things, you're like, come on, let's just figure this out. Let's get this together. So now that they're not able to really sort of wait until something it turns up wrong because everything already happened and everything has turned out right. So now I'm back. So now I'm back in a peaceful sort of way. So I'm back on my own terms, but I know that kind of throws people off when I'm back on my own terms because they sometimes I get the feeling that people are trying to make this into a science or like prove something for themselves. I'm just not one to give it to them. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, shouldn't you prove yourself? You prove you. That's my my opinion. It's like you're right. Again, you're brilliant. Brilliant as always. That's just the way it happens. It plays out like that. I'm like, yeah, I love being brilliant. Oh, by the way, I'm working through the Gemini vibration, and I love being right. I just don't want to oh, like I guess people trying to always prove that I'm whether if I'm correct or not. And in my mind, I'm like, how are you going to prove anything? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that people are meant to prove things. If it were going to happen, if it were meant, I think that it would just yeah, it would just kind of happen. Oh, by the way, people are still watching my little videos. Received I've received so many views. Um, Also received some nice watch hours, but I know it's not from. At least I don't think it is. I don't think it's from. Okay, I doubt it. It doesn't sound like it's gonna be from the shorts. The shorts, I guess, does views, but it doesn't count towards watch hours. But I end up having a lot of those. So yeah, I did really well. I guess I'm doing really well with the shorts. That's not the direction I want to go though. But I guess it would have been time for me to experiment. So shorts definitely, I guess, it sounds like something that people just like, they like to pretend. So I kind of did like a little where I was pretending and things like that. And I somehow it's favorable. People, took, I guess, and they enjoy it. But I know they're frustrated with me. They waited till the 2 minutes that I was like waiting to, uh, I guess, log out. I couldn't give it to them. I'm like, there's no way. I'm so looking forward to logging out, and you're looking so forward to keeping me on longer. I felt like that was spiteful. I'm like, call me right now. Like, don't wait till I'm exiting. Plus, I had such a great day with superior news, and I got an A for the day. I'm like, oh no, I don't need that. I know they're gonna feel embarrassed to try anything, like the test calls to try to mess with my mind. I don't like that gaslighting, cause yeah, there's no way, there's no way that they could get this one. This one was perfect through and through. And it involves the monarch. It involves a monarch. So there's no way they can't mess with me. I even got the things right as it applies. It's like I guess it applies to yeah. So it applies, I guess. Um, it applies to like traveling to a very specific country, America, and it's happening. I mean, it's just so many details, so many levels, dynamics, perfect. And it's not the only one that I'm celebrating. I'm also celebrating other ones as well. So I'm also kind of in this sort of kind of like experimental element as well, where I'm exploring, I guess, like chaos. My path is definitely Kabbalah, but I've been feeling like Kabbalah-ish, if you know what I'm. Kabbalah is descent. I don't know if people realize that. Kabbalah is about transcendence, but then there's a descending one that people call it the Kabbalah, and or those all these other I guess systems other than Kabbalah tend to focus on descent. So there's transcendence, and then there's descent, descendants. Well, more like descent, dissension. Excuse me. There's dissension systems of spirituality. When people are familiar with it, they definitely recognize it. So I work with a lot with the transcend, but a lot of people don't understand the transcend. Very like it's like far and few. So many, they need to experience the ground shaking and breaking of dissension, and that's just where they are. So there's more of those that I typically get than even transcendence. I love helping people transcend, but it also means doing all that metaphysical work, affirmation work that I just naturally do in the reading. But I always keep the reading a psychic reading, always. So there's that, and the other section of this, I guess that's challenging for, well, that's going to be challenging for some people, is the idea that, oh my gosh, basically, I'm correct in so many wonderful things. I mean, it's going to be sickening. It's madness. So, um, like, and I have the articles as well. For example, we have, so, um, Qatar is amazing. They're really good people. The people who I guess work with them, or who they hire to work with them, only praise them, have wonderful things to say about them, including my client. Has only wonderful things to say about them. Well, also, Qatar, like Egypt, like Greece, like America, are trying to find resolution like this in any place in the world except for like little pockets here and there. Maybe like South Africa, even maybe Congo. I don't know. I still have a question mark with Africa, like the Congo. Still don't know. But like the situation with Palestine, they wanted to solve an issue. So, they wanted to find peace. But that's been totally, I guess, minxed. So, um, again, this proves our point. Hamas is poison, is an enemy to Palestinian people. Palestinian people at this point are seeing it, that Hamas is its own group. They're Palestinian, but they have a they have elected to be a class. So even though it might say a warrior class, but they don't seem like good people, not even on a fundamental level. And they have every means to help Palestinian people and just will not do it, refuse to do it. And there's no greater cause than to protect people, lives. And those are the people who are paying dearly for it. You know, not you would say not so much the Hamas. Sometimes it feels it's like, and Israel, as especially Israel's people, wanted this peace deal to go through, but Israel knew that Hamas were not. They didn't show any signs, kind of like Russia, showing no signs that they wanted peace, which is which is fair. I am supportive to Israel when it comes to Israel versus Hamas, and I'm also supportive to Israel providing aid to just like the Palestinian people, children, women, and vulnerable men. And even if I don't, who says that they shouldn't educate? They should educate and raise awareness and prove to the Palestinian people that Hamas actually is their enemy, to the Palestinian people. I mean, not just to the world, not that they just threaten the world, not that they just threaten Israel, but they also threaten the survival of Palestinian people. And it's good that they've begun to see that in a matter of how Hamas expected them not to desire the aid. Hamas is nowhere, it's not even around Palestinian people. Like they come in only to check if there's aid, so they can get the aid, which they confiscate the aid from the Palestinian people. Yep, but they get caught by by Israel. I guess they get caught because that aid is for Palestinian people, not Hamas. And Palestinian, and of course, it proves another point that I also posted. Hamas doesn't care about the Palestinian people. They're only interested in maintaining their governmental powers. That's it. But they're not deserving of that. They had it, and they behaved the way that they have, like adversarial and just opposite of peace. And they placed the Palestinian people, their own people, in harm's way. And subject change. Subject change. Donald. Okay. Sure. Welcome. It's a pleasure. I'm Donald. Should be an interesting reading to answer a few of your questions today. And how would we like to begin? Okay. Well, let's take a look and see what we gather here. Um, we'll just start with your question first, see what comes up. And because, yes, we're going to work with that, your question. So, what I can see is this. Um, what they have here is the heart, okay, meaning well. I do see contract, okay, I see agreement. This is personal journey for the other person, the one who's a part of this agreement, the gentleman, the person that you're bringing in, you want to work with them. I see a lot of feelings here that, it feels good that this is something that is, the person will feel at home or this is meant to be long term, especially in the month of July. Like you'll get your answer if the person is even showing signs of wanting to do something like this, like maybe work together long term and just project into the future, which means for this person to be in your path right now, this is about you, like they can find something steady within their lives. And in other words, this is a great opportunity, I would say. That's what they're looking at. And they're speaking a lot about these next few weeks that we have while we're in the month of July. So I'm going to say this person does indeed want to work long term, but also a lot of this reading is mostly written in the emotions. This is the way that the person feels. So I do believe that there is a interest there that is more an emotional side. Is, as they say, maybe you two become, very close in some way. Maybe even like a meaningful relationship happens. But it's also definitely a working relationship. Okay. So, well, the way that I work is I go, so all I needed you to do is focus on like the specific person whom you're interested in and hearing about. Okay. Okay. Right. But you are interested in speaking about a very specific person. Okay, so what I'm expressing to you is that naturally, that person who's on your mind, that's the person who's being read. It isn't anyone else. Unless you specify you want a group read or you want specific people read. But if you're just focusing on that one person, because a lot of time people, I'm used to people not wanting to share any extra added information because they want me to pick up on things on my own. So I'm not. That's why I'm not asking you for any details, unless you want to. If you offer it, that's okay. But I'm just letting you know I'm focusing on specific person here. Okay. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Well, there's two details. Hmm. Okay. Okay. But there are two issues though. There are two issues that I want to reiterate in a shorter. I'll give you a shorter, simpler version. They said that you're going to find out in this month of July that he indeed wants to continue working with you. He wants to be working with you directly, long term. That's one. And then two, also, a lot of it, there is an emotional connection between he and you. So I think that you two, if you want to say professionally, but I do believe it's other areas beyond just professional. I think that he and you will develop a sort of relationship that allows for you both to still have, even if it's to working together really well. He's interested in that. You're going to find out over these next 3 weeks or few weeks while we're in the month of July. Yes. Don't give up on him. Okay. Good luck to both of you. Yeah, I was supposed to receive that at the end of the. No, 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 no. I don't get confused. Don't play games with me. Girl, you want him to work with you, you like him. You're like, well, I'm not, well, it's not about that. I'm not talking about, I'm like, your question literally was, I want to know about a specific person. Do I need his name? No, that was a test. I'm like, no, I don't play with test calls. I'm like, I'm going to embarrass you. That's my point because that's not the way that real readings go. And just because you want to be a fool doesn't mean I have to have extra patience with you. You're in no, you're you're deliberate intentionally being agitating to see how far to the edge I can go. No, I'm gonna roast you right then and there. I changed the whole meaning of test reading. And I'm like, no, you're trying to see how I could read you through and through. That's why you want to see my extent of that. Fine. I'm gonna add fire to it. Because that's none of my clients behave like that. I do have a client that sort of you know try to get me to talk about certain issues. Yeah, they're trying to be a pest. Because that happens whenever I do really well in readings. It's always a pest. But it's a they claim it's a test reading. I'm like, uh-huh. Like they're test reading, but at the same time, it's like they're trying to me, I'm trying to think they're trying to like find like inspiration to write as well. So like information vampire. So what I go on around it is just start roasting people, roast them while they're here, call them out. Like, look, I'm not gonna pretend anything. I'm gonna pretend like you're not focused. Like when you ask me specifically, yes, look, I don't need you to give me information. Like, you let me give me the name. And it's like, well, I'm not talking about this. Well, like, if you have trouble, I've graduated from if you have trouble. There, no, no, no. I'm not even putting it as, oh, if you don't want to talk to me, then what are you doing here? Get out of my face. No, 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 no. You want to talk to me, trust me. I read for monarch. I read for royalty. I read for like people who are really something. So of course you do, unless you're a fool. If you're a fool, yeah, you might not want to talk to me because you want to remain a fool. Okay. So anyway, that was the way they were supposed to make me feel, but they slipped up and waited till the last 2 minutes. They thought that I was gonna be like, oh, I only had 2 minutes and I was almost out of here. Let me answer this call. And then they give me that and I'd be mad all evening. I'm like, no. So the other one is they always wait until the morning. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. And then the whole day is me like drained, like already mad. and but that's not how my gifts work. Yes, it may be a roller coaster, but somebody positive, like a real client, will call and I'll feel very good. I don't agree with their tests. Their tests are subjective, and it's like, it kind of gives you that feeling like they're saying, well, you gotta like the person. I'm like, no, I don't. These people don't have to like me. Then it was like, well, this is test to see how well you connect. No, I don't need to connect. I connect with my spiritual guides. They're connecting with their person who they want to fall in love with. Because they try to connect with me. It gets all weird. I'm like, nobody's trying to connect. No one even wants to use that term. I'm like, look, I don't. Well, and they say, well, I don't know if there's a well, I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't connect. I connect with my spiritual guides. You're trying to connect with your ex, and I just get the information from my guides, and I relay that information back to you. Like, oh, like, yeah, yeah. I don't mind the barrier. Like, I want to keep that barrier there. I knew that was a deadly work. I studied transference, and through connection, their transference it's just weird. And they only do that because they're thinking in the form of running a business. It's like non-psychic people are saying, well, trying to find a method to keeping people. Oh yeah, keep them on. They gotta, you gotta be, you know, uh, warm and want people to want to be with you. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't. None of us like to go to the dentist for for relaxation. None of us really wants to go get a check. However, maybe if there's a massage therapist involved, maybe, but no, they're here to ask very complicated questions. That's always what I would always, what they call it, I would always get confused about that. I'm like, why? Or why do we have to be like that and make those distinctions? It's like, it's not making any sense to me. And that, a connection, you need a connection for. So it took me some time to process that, like, this is a real world that, uh, people are, this is the way that they exploit, in your industry. Every industry has exploitation. This is the way it happens. So I'm in a position where I can eliminate that kind of, I guess, analogy of performing psychic readings. I'm like, how do you know the process? You asked me to do the psychic reading. Now, I do get that they have to test you to see what you get. In my mind, it's about testing for accuracy. Well, it's more than about being accurate. Try to diminish the gift and like, are you what kind of person are you? I'm like, there's many people that always contact me about only hiring people because they want to sleep with them, or or they want to work with, or the person they work with they want to sleep with them who's married. You think that I want to come in and oh, it depends on how people are attracted to you. I'm like, yeah, like they're just enabling the culture. So yeah. Anyway, I'm speaking in the realm of chaos right now. But oh, by the way, I'm speak. When I said that I have 5 solid stars, I have 5 solid stars. I need to write. So I have five. I have 5 solid stars all it's everywhere, right? And wonderful feedback. Wonderful feedback. Um, so yeah, I have wonderful feedback. 5 stars. I have high return rates, but not in the sense of you know people need me because they're not getting their answers. No, we're talking about new people. It's like 80%, and it's going up. It's only I've just started, so it's at 80% right now of people that return back to me. I also have a high percent of retention rate. People pay attention to what I'm talking about, and I see spikes when I write to them specifically. So I'm still trying to develop my sense of writing and my writing purpose and things like that. At the same time, yeah. So right now I have superior markings. I'm just trying to find the results. Like you've got really great grades, keep your grades up, and perhaps you'll become something someday. I'm like, okay, someday, someday, someday. Like I talked about this yesterday in the last life. I said I'm supposed to have 5 stars. I'm supposed to have high retention rate. I'm supposed to have going up towards beyond the 80%. That's really good. Return rates. I'm supposed to have that. People are supposed to want to listen. And I'm not talking about monetary. I'm just talking about like there's still something I'm searching for. But anyway, I'm preparing myself in my own way. Go ahead and go. At least I didn't tear anybody down. I wasn't trying to tear anybody down. So this was not a conversation of tearing anyone down. I didn't tear anything down. I'm just saying I detected deception. That's all. Yeah, I know deception when I see it. But yeah, but I'm actually in the yeah. Um, I'm studying dissension and I'm studying like it's like the Kabbalah without trying to study it. Uh, and I mean, I understand it, but I'm definitely. Oh, by the way, so August 15th, I am getting closer. I've gotten a few, I guess, realization moments of what the next gifts are going to be. Uh, I haven't begun receiving information yet about what the new year represents. That hasn't, for, formulated to me yet. Of course, it will in August, around August, especially like essentially August 15th. But I'm already starting to open up to the incoming information. Definitely will share in that regard. One second, I gotta go check on something. Okay. Um, all right. I'm back with a vengeance. Oh boy. So, okay. I'm collected. I don't feel I've released energy. That's yeah, I'm holding fast to my energy. I just being that I actually am a metaphysical practitioner, I just don't allow well, I don't allow clients, but particularly companies to practice. I mean, if it's a metaphysical company, I could tell, you know, I, psychic source they're metaphysical, right? Community. I mean, they do metaphysical stuff, but some companies, I'm like, no, you're not going to practice on me. No, no, no. I was like, go practice on your friends and family, and then if I have to have a conversation with you, then if you want to like do metaphysical, work with me, maybe you want to work with me metaphysically, but I'm like, don't teach me anything. If there's anyone who should be teaching anything, it should be me. I'm the one that should be teaching. That didn't fall to you. You can teach me about business. That I could use that. People try to be spiritual, try to teach you things, and then it's wrong. Like according to my studies, here let's talk about it. It's like I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's like you opened up the Pandora's box and now you want to close it. Doesn't work like that. Mm, mm. Okay, so right now I'm doing really well on all fronts, and I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I'm still okay. I do know. Well, I know some of it, or a piece of it, a little bitty piece. I'm supposed to be writing. I've got to start writing. I'm telling you, I love coming up with ideas. I love to create. I'm nervous about one thing I can do is get in the habit. Like I found, how to like edit. A lot of it I can edit myself because I love to write. So my grammar, usually, what I use editing software for, like, like Grammarly. You know what I use it for? Like, it always gives you like a grade, and I'm always in the 90 percentile. So I always use it to get like 100, 100. But Grammarly, as of late, have been trying to like they try to rewrite your entire. It's like that's not my tone. That's not what I'm going for. They're like making suggestions. I'm like, no, no, no. That's not what I'm saying. You have to be careful with the AI. Oh, by the way, I was right. I said AI is subjective. Okay. Um, I went kind of like in a musical rabbit hole, and people are writing music with AI. Like, okay, like it's like the songs, like you listen to three of their songs in a row, the same artist. It uses keywords. You see it, you hear it, and you see it using keywords. Like it talk about in phrases, like um, what is it? Uh, it says you made my heart feel underground. Um, I've always wanted you to come back. Was always there for you. Also, it's very cheesy in the rhymes. It rhymes a bit like um, no sophistication to rhymes. So it sounds very like elementary type of nursery rhyme. Like all this time I had your back. Um, I never thought that you would leave me like that. Every time I wanted to, to talk to you, um, you always, you always would turn off the light and it would be blue, but it never expounds on it. Then it would say, all I wanted was to be in love, like, you know, um, and that part's true. It never really, it doesn't give any sophistication to rhymes. It's always like you get two rhymes, that's it. Like hat and bat and um, uh, your heart's an epidemic. Uh, um, you let the past is like ceramic, it's very much like that. And then keywords in all the songs. Like if you use um, always a dependence. It'll say dependence on that song. It'll say dependence on that song. It'll say dependence on that song. And especially now, okay, coincidence. But then you start to realize, wait a minute, there's three words: dependence, broken, and storm. Dependence, broken, storm. Dependence, broken, storm, and all three. I'm like, see, it's subjective. So unless you were to use it and you were like, okay, it's giving me an idea. Let me change it. Okay, I already used those words. Let me change those words out, and you expound it, and you make it more, make the lyrics sophisticated, the subject matter, more depth. Then it would work. But people are like, they get a little image, of some young, about they got a curated young image of a pop star, type, you know, and and then put the voice to that image, put the lyrics there. There you go. Well, yeah, they're stopping all that. They're like, mm-mm. Well, I don't know if they're touching the music, but definitely, maybe they are. I don't know. But they said that they're going to take a look at the AI thing. So, yeah, which I think is nice. Also, another thing they do, if like if you have like tons, and even if you have like many followers, you have tons and tons of content, but it's like you're, like let's say if you're a debater, and you're it's kind of like you can no longer just say things just to say them, and look look seductive into the camera, and you get views upon views. No, you have to, if it's it consider it I guess the AI or the algorithm picks it up as spam. Oh yeah, there's been people like saying, I had my channel deleted and all I talk about was politics. But they've been like, if you like, it's kind of like what do you call it? Those fact checkers. It's like, but it's already like built in. Like if you was talking about anything like political political stuff, and it keeps coming up wrong, it keep being disproven, it translates as spam and then takes away the whole channel. Yeah, by seeing that, heard people talking about that as well. So like, and also, my channel has received positive algorithm fluctuations. hmm And yeah, so, but I'm right. And I do like to talk behind still, but it's my voice though. A still image. Sometimes I like to put up the image, and I don't like to be on camera, or I'll put myself at least in the pit. And I don't react to other content. Um, I just react to my own. Of course, they said that's not a big thing. Yeah, well, I don't know if they said well, they said like reaction videos, like take content, and you're like, oh, ooh, ah, you can't do that, I guess, and which I don't do. I whenever the only time that I've done that was like just listening to like a citation of like the president, and I don't okay, so I do astrological readings. Like I'll have the picture of the person, and then I'm in the pit, and I have like tons and tons of astrological information that I retrieved myself. But I had created an entire format right into a studio on TikTok, and they kept popping up that my like, oh, unoriginal, your content is not. I was like, I know you a lie. I was like, don't even try to take. I was like, don't even try to take mine because I've got. I started showing off my degree. I started showing off my university stuff, my subject. I was like, I'm the only one that can speak on this subject. I was like, you're not speaking on such this good, and uh, and it was very colorful. It's all pretty. And it's it's the thumbnail where it has a triangle and it has like the four corners. I did that, and it has little verbiage, the definitions. I was like, there's no, you didn't do that, and there's no one like me. There's no one even remotely could even speak to that because your belief systems are opposite. I'm saying I'm teaching opposite of everything you believe in. There's no way that that copy who. It's like if you try to take this and run with it yourself, you won't get very far because you don't have the education. So I just flat out said it, and they were like, they sent me, oh, we apologize. We got it corrected. We had to update our system, and we apologize. I was like, your AI, your AI it doesn't have the capacity to speak on this subject either. Yes, that your AI, the AI doesn't even recognize the words that I'm speaking. It's not even in your database, the words that I'm speaking about. Like words that are applied to metaphysical practices aren't even honored in the as words in the algorithm as search words. It right in the search engine. So you can't tell me nothing. They apologize. They interrupting my stream. Say, oh well, your stream is on this because it's being slowed because of them. Like I was like, I know you lying because you're not that bright. Send and well, here you go. Oh, how they're like, oh, we don't want AI material on here. they, YouTube is like kicking off all the AI stuff. I was trying to explain that to one of my clients. One of my clients was kind of giving an idea that, well, I'm looking at AI. I was like, well, what you want to do is use it for inspiration, like let it type it up. It's like it gave me some, but it gave come a generic image. I'm like, yeah, it's very subjective, and it doesn't read human emotions well. It doesn't read the human emotions. So that's what I mean by subjective. It doesn't have the ability to go into depth of human emotion. So you still very much need it. But some people even use or are using it to like write letters, full on letters to people, apology letters, connection letters, as in opposed to, of course, my thoughts are, get a night, like, okay, like make it right, but then go back and rewrite. Like you could use it as use AI suggestion as a skeleton and just build onto that and then say what frame it in the way that you feel connection with the post. So that was my thoughts. But anyway, it sounds like YouTube have thoughts on that as well, and they're not don't seem very happy with AI. So when I'm looking for like wonderful music, I'm always paying attention. Like, okay, is this AI generated, strictly AI generated, or is like this an actual? So I always try to find where the artist is performing live, and then if I like it, but I can already tell that it's generated. I'm like the voice, and it sounds too simple, to simplify the lyrics, and the content of the lyrics, the subject matter is very elementary. I could tell. And then, of course, the thumbnail. But everybody uses what a lot of people are using AI thumbnails. I like to create my own thumbnails. I like to like cut, kind of like magazine, and you cut, you cut around the edges. I like to do it that way. So, and then I kind of create a thumbnail. So I love doing that. That's still fun to me. Not saying AI um, is is actually nice. I mean, I like it's just something that's different. It's just different. I like the thumbnails that are AI generated, um, but when it comes to the writing, I'm not really a good fan. I'm not a fan of, and so this kind of like really proves my point, drives my drives my point to home. When I'm thinking of explaining this to my client, I'm like, well, it's okay to use it, just don't let it rule your head. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you just don't want it to rule your head. So so I'm just like my psychic. So that's why my psychic predictions. Like I was not worried about when they said AI is going to start doing astrological horoscopes. I said no, AI is not going to start doing astrological horoscopes. People are not even doing astrological horoscopes because that's not how you do it, and they're using the wrong dates because all the dates are inaccurate. The information is going to be inaccurate. People, that's really like where people kind of find things that match their world. But that's why whenever I do it, and they're like, "What method is this?" I mean, it's like very detailed, and it gets dates that I make predictions for so perfect that people don't even understand. I had a client. My client, the reason why I took a whole week off. I only took a week off. I feel like I took a month off, but I uh, explained to our client, like you're going to travel to America with ambassadors. Uh, you're going to really begin to work. Things are returning for you. I said I have very specific dates and time for this. We're focusing on by the 7th, um, but it's like in the framework of 15 days. The first, and then so from the 7th, which is the top of the week, the latest time is Tuesday. And they were like, well, this hasn't happened. Guess what? They changed their mind. And then this. I'm like, all this you discovered in less than 24 hours. And I was like reaching for reading. It's like, what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a break. 1 week, give them time to catch up. They caught up, and it was like everything you said was. I was like, you know how I am. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, I told you so." I don't do that. Like that had already happened. When they said, "Well, read me," they would want me to pick up on it. I said, "Well, let me read you. Okay, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be getting closer to work. You're supposed to feel more comfortable working with everybody, and you're supposed to be going on a date, and you're supposed to be going, into, preparing to travel." They were like, I want to stop you right there. They stopped me at the point and I brought up the date. It's like, yes, and we did go on our date. That was so funny. Oh my gosh. She didn't tell me right away. She's like, I gotta stop you right there. No, let me stop you right there. And then she had to like think about it. Did I tell you? Did somebody else tell you? And she had to think about it. Like 30 minutes later, she says, oh yeah, and we did go on our date. I was like, she kept trying to find something faulty. I'm like, what? Yeah, I was right about everything. So that's why I had to receive a test call. They messed up. They're supposed to call me at the end, but they waited till 2 minutes till I was like, oh boy, no. So they contacted me this morning and one sec. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so I'm trying to understand where people are coming from. And but I'm beginning to see success more, especially when I stick to my guns. They said, oh yeah, by the way, she told me, she says, I was saying that it wasn't gonna happen, but you stuck to your guns. I was like, I understand, but this is what I see. They said I stuck to my guns, which typical, that's typical for me to do. And then I was proven right. So yeah, she did say that. She says, but I was saying that it wasn't gonna happen, but you stuck to your guns. Yeah, I did. I did stick. I always stick to my guns. Like if you say I don't see that, or well they said this, I look again. I said, but spirit still that's the way that spirit revealed it. Well, let's to keep an eye on it. But I'm going to just let you know I truly believe that this is going to happen. And sometimes I say the most unfortunate things sometimes, like, hey, I understand that, sometimes it doesn't appear or look the way that you might think it should look, but, this isn't a counseling session. It's just me making a psychic prediction. This is, because therapy leaves room for opinion, but a psychic prediction, it just is. It'll come to place. Besides, it's for you. It's for your greatest benefit. These are things you want to manifest. So I do say it like that sometimes, to that tone. I always make sure it's empowering, but the truth of the matter, I'm going to be right. And oh gosh. And I calculated so much on my Twitter feed. Like I like racking up on coins. I got all the coins and posts. people's dialogues are like changed. I literally affect like information, what is talked about. But there are actual journalists or journalists, bloggers. They write about these things. I just pick out what I foresaw. Not like, yeah, this more like what I saw, and I just put it up there. And I just the image. I just take their image that they have, and I just put it. Make sure that look, this is an article. This is the article. Like I just click the link to read the full article, and then I will add like what my points, so like why I chose this one, why I think that this is moving in the right direction or not, because I can also say, hey, might want to take another look at this because this isn't quite. I mean, or expound on this. Like somebody wrote something to the effects of, Zelensky tried 3 times. I'm like, correction, Zelensky tried 3 times to aid. However, Israel does not want to share their superior air defense systems, for example. That is wild, right? Of course, I could be mean and say, that's so crazy. You wouldn't think to add that, but that's what was going on. He uh, he did approach them about air defense. So it makes everything all what I said it speaks 1,000 words, of course, naturally. Of course, they doesn't even want to invite him. He said, "I can send men your way." They're like, "We don't, no, 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 we don't need anything. We don't want that from you." So they don't want to work with Zelensky, Ukraine. They don't want to. So in my brain now, Zelensky is uh, Jewish. He's Jewish Ukrainian. So I said, Zelensky, be the new Israel that you want, that you see in your mind. You become the new Jerusalem you see in your mind. That I did. I started like supporting him in that way. Just become he's like, let me help, let me do this. Like you need to become the Israel the Jerusalem you see in your mind, New Jerusalem, become that. So, you know. But anyway, oh, and I already said what Pam Bondi is actually being grounded. The only one who can now remove Pam Bondi is Pam herself. It would be bad because you know what happens. What I notice when people renege it with spirit, like they already told me this is kind of sound a little mean. I love Biden, but like don't become a Biden and becomes and like lose your voice. Because if you take this route, don't think you're gonna stay up there and maintain your voice. It's not. No, no. You give up. You give up the ghost. You like stay like if because yes, universe will insert somebody else who will do the job. You know, you know what Biden wanted to do. Trump ends up doing it. So yeah. So uh, oh yeah. Well, anyway, Pam Bondi, I foresaw that she would continue to work and build her career, and she's not intending, you know, um, like it's wonderful to have options though, but people are like, when is she leaving? Like, go work. Like, she's not going to go to Fox. She's not going there. You know, if she were, it would be like well into the future beyond her time with the White House. She's not leaving the White House. Besides, these are real people. Like just because they don't add up to your story, they have to quit or they no longer a good fit. That's a real occurrence. You got to be careful. You get too smart. You're not longer, you're not a good fit. You prove something, you prove the information, the status quo, inaccurate. Yeah, there's a lot of information there. I hope no one quits, but this conversation about, they gotta write this historic history book of sorts, book of destiny, it's not happening for many reasons. They um they even tried to like skirt past the president, Donald J. Trump. I'm like, you don't get to do that. I didn't vote you in. They're like, well, I just decided that, well, the president just isn't the president. Maybe he shouldn't be president anymore. He shouldn't be allowed to be president anymore. Maybe he should just be impeached. It's not. That's not happening. This cycle, this semester, yeah, he's not being impeached. Bondi will leave like Biden. If Biden chose to leave, Bondi would have to choose to leave. Biden gave up his voice. Bondi would have to give up her voice, which and they're only doing that because you know the bread and honey from. I mean, everything that they ever imagined. I was explaining to one of my clients, like, imagine you're carrying a bucket that had a hole in it, and you realize that you've been carrying that bucket a long time, and everything you ever thought was not real, not true. Everything, every bit of it, undone. So, however, the things that are meaningful to life actually are manifested. Pe- People need to think beyond or outside of problems. They said, well, if you mess with this, you got to mess with that. No, you got to find better solutions. That there's better solutions than the ones we have. And Trump said his motto. Well, people want to put stretch out the problem. They want to put a band-aid on it, but they never want to fix the problem. So we're going to take the time to fix the problem, find better solutions, better ways of, for example, people who currently work for the state or government. Obviously they have to come up with a solution in ways that they would be paid differently, right? So that means problems that be would never dare be treaded um, are being are being confronted. That's a way of thinking about it. Like, look at it bigger. Fine, fine. They got rid of these programs. So, what's the solution? What's a brand new solution, if you will? Not alternative solutions for the meanwhile in their lifetime. There's another solution to getting people what they need, or getting people to the place where their needs are met. Real solutions, stronger ones, permanent ones, maybe even solutions that you say that give people life rather than keeping them in some sort of below, I call it below sea level. But people need to have their arguments presented and be able to talk on this for hours, of course, online. And people speak on these things, and now you have all the time in the world to go out into society. There's many people who need you now. So, what about people here? Well, now that you're making a ton of money for these conversations, especially if don't quite your structures are not quite a 9 to 5 now. You have the powers, like the young one said. Well, we should be working with there's people who are hungry here. Great. There are people who need a house here. Phenomenal. Now that you know that you were never ever going to put put your feet in boots and put those boots on Ukraine soil. That was never going to happen. Now you know what you should be doing. You should be out there, maybe getting something set up. It could be for profit. It's easy to set up a 501c3, and you only need to be 18. Yep, you could do it now. And if you're young, please, you know full on well you can get one of your older friends who happen to be just turning 18. You know, right now they're feeling golden right now and lucky, and and they really want to give their heart, put all their heart into Jesus. Go ahead and have one of them do it, or an adult, and then then eventually you just inherit it, where you're, because you gotta serve on a board anyway. You could just serve on the board even at your age until you can take it over, so to speak. But it wouldn't be, if it's a 501c3, it wouldn't be just one person over it. You could be a director, but you have like an owner, somebody who started it. But you still have to have three people on a board. You just get your home girl. She, you'd make her day, giving her responsibility, something she could talk about on her entrance way to college. You could really think about this in a bigger perspective. Since you know full on well that we're not putting you in some boots, and because you're not even, when Zelensky offered, he offered warriors, seasoned warriors who said, look, if you would like to come, get in touch, come, not children, not men, not boys and girls, warriors, seasoned warriors, who are warriors who would want to volunteer their time and of course work some things out. So that was all the way from the very start in the last administration. So we always knew you weren't even the draft. No, they were getting your attention, like, come on, snap out of it. We need you to participate and get your interest here in a government. Earlier the better. Get you distracted from all this, not like the little things, information wise, that trickle down. That is not the case. Look what the government want to do to you, and then it never happens, and you're like, why are we fighting? Why we're playing for World War III, when there's nobody is wanting World War III. World War III only is by nuclear. No one wants to use a nuclear. Not even the villain wants to do nuclear. Putin don't want to do nuclear. I don't mean by no nuclear bombing. Putin doesn't want to do that. Iran doesn't want to do that. Xi doesn't want to do that. China, leaders, the emperor of China. North Korea doesn't want to do that. Like, nobody wants to do a nuclear bomb and then kick off World War III. Nobody in this timeline at this time is interested in any of that. So that was never going to happen. And so in their consumption, you're consuming this information that never plays out, and you could very well be out there doing all those wonderful things of like helping people, um, creating something that is good and healthy. They even have those. It's marketed to me all the time where, um, you know, uh, where I guess people, like communities, are getting together and doing full on drives, food drives, and drives of all kinds of necessities to get to people in need right now. And you could start there and become a part of that. So yeah, so now that talk about what think that we should be doing now, you know what you could also be doing. Um, People, a community set out to set up individuals to make billions of dollars, like an entertainment industry, and was saying, but of course, they became preoccupied and doing all the other things other than creating jobs. That's the whole purpose. Oh yes, now you can create studios so we can have another way of showing off talent and skills, and it'll be great for our some give our kids something to look up to. Turns out they'd rather play in other ways, and some of it is legal and some of it is not. Some of it is very, very much illegal. And, and yeah, and billions of dollars. Some people were like showing up for work for free. They're like, so there's people that showed up and said, I just want my talent on shelves. Some people are showing up for free and says, I will show up for free and block all of that for nothing, for free. You're paying me? You don't have to pay me anymore. I show up for free. So like female and women, like, ooh, ooh, and very diverse. Diverse. Don't care what color you are. Don't care what gender you're. They show up. They're there. They're there to see. They're there just to watch, just to witness, and trust and believe. They would not have shown up and talked about this unless they were summoned. They were summoned. That's why it wasn't me like, oh, let me. No, it wasn't. They were like, oh my, let me help. Let me. Oh, I didn't know. Like, no, they weren't. The only reason why they showed up is because they were summoned, and the judge said, you better not lie here. And so they said, well, you want the truth. Here it is. And the truth is not always pretty. And in fact, the truth is often very ugly. But it's the truth, it's the facts. You want it? Here you go. Come to find out, there's a lot of willing participants. If there weren't a lot of willing participants, yeah, that would have been a 5 for 5. Like I have 5 stars. Hmm. Yeah, he didn't quite get 5 stars. Uh, and there's no wondering. I wonder why not. That's a fool's statement. I wonder why not. A fool's question, because that's a statement, not even a question. Because you know full on well why only 2 stars. You know why? Because there are three. Three is average, below average. That means that's how willing people wanted to be there, and it not for money. Cause like when you do something right, you're thinking, oh yeah, they're around them for money. No, I mean a quick payout, like they do that online, like TikTok. Like ask for gifts, right? TikTok doesn't want you asking for gifts, but still, people like Cash App and all that. So then below average, they're like they wanted to be there. A lot of yeah, no, they did want to be there. It didn't play out like they anticipated. So the only like technical things, the technical things on technicality type things in reverse. Technical things got him those 2 stars. Technically, technically, which you could say the same thing about the other people. Well, technically, y'all were participating in this too, technically. But he's the one that's here. He's the one that's gonna take the fall for it. The rest could be like your moral opinion. But then you could easily say the reason why he got the 2 stars and not 3 and above, which is an average and above, is because they sat up there and was like, I'm here because I want to be here. And I'm even here for free. I'm not even being paid. It's not even about me being paid. I don't even want the money. Well, it wasn't to calculate. It wasn't to listen and record and speak up when the right time is here. So anyway, and it's happened a few times. And these few times, it's always been the highest, the biggest, the brightest, the best, the billions, the billions, the billions, the billions, always. So anyway, that's some food to think about. Got to get that sorted quickly. Like, first of all, who are you lifting up? But, but we can go back all the way from to basics and say, oh, so that's why real spiritualist people, real people who really want to make a difference. That's why they don't get lifted up, because the people who want to participation of those activities are actually the ones who are lifting those folks up and then regretting it later. They've been allowed to have regret for something that they participated in themselves, or something they agreed to at the time. And so people say, well, that's rude of you. You have no business. That's fine. But just imagine this. A lot of people talk about not looking at true spiritualists. What about true talented people? There are plenty of true talented people who never seen the light of day. All because the dude that somebody liked would have asked if she or he, we shouldn't assume, if she would like to share a room. Oh, I can't hire you. Yeah, you're talented, but he's going to ask you to share a room together, as, you know, as constituents. It could be professional. It's none of our business. And I can't, wait a minute. Why would I do that? Why would I help you? What I get out of that? No, no. There'll be other opportunities. Sorry, we're going to keep looking. And you never get your break. You never get your opportunity because that, he's liked your fellow talent. He could be an actor, dancer. He's liked, or flipped. She's liked, or okay, uh, don't care for your music, but I like your face. You're gooey, like you're sticky. You attract people. People like you. Pretty people like you. And then somebody else, like, just like divine, comes along, like, you should be a model. uh yeah, you don't even they don't even get sent to a call, a cat, what they call it, a go see. They don't go to, they don't have any go sees or nothing. They're like, oh, but you can come to the party. You might, who knows, you might meet somebody, who knows. And then this whole bit of, in my mind, is like, even if a person were to be like, okay, in their imagination, a group, someone collectively were like, okay, I'm gonna like pass you around and say, you still, at the end of the day, you still have a decision to make. Like, it's kind of like you paid, like I paid, like, okay, I paid to be, at least to shoot my shot with you, if you accept or not. Still doesn't guarantee. So still quite not quite the old hand behind the back bit. So still, I think it's still something is missing in that. So, like, you can't say I paid for this, so I'm gonna get what I paid for. That doesn't quite fit. I mean, it's, it works for the silver screen, but it doesn't quite fit. Mm-mm. Because those men were tall. Those are tall men with, like, tall men with bros, other bros who be like, we fight over him. So that doesn't make any sense to, like, coerce again. And there was, both, everybody, men and women, were saying they just show up for nothing. They showed up for nothing. Talk about, oh no, I'm just about my money. I did no, I showed up for the money. Then you imagine you're trying to work a system to where you takes money, you're getting your talent, to out there to give to the world, and it's on pause for years, and you have people coming in not paying their dues, not feeling pressure or the brunt of pressure, who are just there for an experience, and they're not interested in even making money anymore at it. They're just there for experience. They're not interested in making money at it. The wisdom of the courts is precious. Ooh, wee. But that's okay. I already knew I didn't have a shot. Because the moment I say no, the moment like auras touch, I'm already like, it ain't happening. That's why and you already know my story. And, and that's why I've been complaining about for years since 2019 and since 2022. Because I actually in 2022, 2023, I went back and I read every email, and I started like I did an entire live on this subject. I was like, oh my gosh, because they're associated with Hollywood. I was like, that's what happened. It's more than that as well. But okay, so my contract was 2019. It was December 19th, but it was 20, I believe it was 2019. We moved it to 2020, something like that. But it was December. Oh, okay, I know it. It was December. It was like 6 days to Christmas. I remember that. But the day before is when Donald Trump was impeached, and then my contract within hours followed. And but it started earlier in that year. I had taken a trip, and I received an email, and I thought it was, oh, like, oh, that's what you're doing. Well, have a good time. The contract says, you can do this. Thank you for letting us know. Blah 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 blah, which I did. So, but when I reread it, I was actually being mocked. I was like, oh, that's because when I came back, I was like, uh, why did they change? Like, there's like they went dark, and I know why. Because and besides, there's other signs as well, like the CEO's mistress reached out to me a few times and made it distinctly, yes, her business to tell me who it was by name and what the nature of their relationship for was. And I didn't, and it wasn't even to have we weren't even having a reading. She was speaking to me in conversational tone. She was telling me the conversation. It's like, why are you taking the time to tell me this? Because there's an issue. This gets recorded. They find out that you're telling me all of this information I know. I mean, I'm not even going to make those suggestions. I'm not making suggestions at all. But it did kind of give the feeling like people were jealous of me or mad because I wasn't going to be controlled. So that's the way it played out. And anyway, Trump gets reelected. I get my contracts double. I get contracts double that I was with that one. Double portion, as they say. I received a double portion, triple portion, quadruple portion, just many times over. And 5 stars, all that. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And all of the responsibilities I can actually write to my people. I can write to them. That's amazing thing to be able to do, which I need to write. But so anyway, I was like saying, that's in my Hollywood did me dirty lives. Like, yeah, that's dirty. I know it's something going on. And then all this other types of stuff that's coming out. I'm so happy that it's coming out because it gives me a, like, that I wasn't making it up. It's not that I'm burned or feel hurt. No. When you Okay, so people have talent, real musical talent, and somebody just did not choose not to allow that talent to be available to the world. That's no fault of the person who has that talent. That's the fault of the person who didn't use at the time didn't use their abilities, which is a gift. They're blessed with the spirit to give, and they elected not to. That's what that is. They elected not to. So I don't count that as laziness. I don't count that as it just wasn't your time. That all that scratches out. All that you gotta erase all that. At some point you gotta stop saying it just wasn't meant for it wasn't meant. No. You something intentionally, deliberately is affecting you. Somebody. Not a thing. Somebody. Somebody's using a thing. A thing's a thing. That makes me madder than the voluntary activity part. That makes me more even like because you can only imagine you could actually before you knew all the information is being brought to light and being admitted by all the players, you would have been thinking for years like it just wasn't my time. It just never was the right time, or it never like God had something different or in store for me. Even if even if God universe as universe does take care of you, there's always that thing in your mind. Like if you get, let's say you still maintain riches and you still go on to be, having a beautiful family, having a beautiful, caring, warm spouse. There's always that part of you that's going to say, and even if you were always, you was always celebrated, you're always popular with people, etc., spotlight. There's a part of you that's all going to say, I wonder how far my music would have, or my talent would have gone had I been allowed the especially if you had a taste of it. If you actually, let's say, rising above sea level and you're doing really well, and you everything was just attracted to you, and just somebody says you don't deserve that unless you come to this party. You don't go to the party, so you get written your script, social script gets you get written out, set up, or if you will, and it never happens a light of day. But you knew that you're trending towards the level of success that is very rare, but common with talent, and you have to accept that. Because you say, no, it just wasn't my time. No, I don't accept that. No, I still had lot to learn. No, I don't accept that. It's like somebody blocked, somebody derailed you. Okay, why does that feel different? Why does that feel much different? It feels actually good because it feels true. Well, anyway, so all that's to light. But yeah, people were given specific social duties. We're going to make you into a billionaire. You're going to open up all kinds of ways in which people from a community, all communities, can come and have a fair chance to showcase their abilities, skills, talent, education. Some people actually have gone to become like have been formally educated in these within the areas of talents and creativity and engineering and all that. So they arrive, go there, request, and then later find out that they were never even thought about or considered. No matter what, hey, I want to pitch to you a great idea, and that idea is like, yeah, that's gonna cut in my time, my party time, my, well, I'm not, if I have time, it is, well, I heard you out, send it to my people through email, and we'll get back with you because they they're not interested. They're not interested, and it's like, well, that was the reason why we made all your dreams possible, because then, um, so they took something that, okay, so people are showing up for free. They're not having to have to like pay a real staff, and which, it cuts down on costs, right? Like some overhead, right? And they just put back into their to their recreation. They have because they have more money. People like, hey, I don't want my pay, so like, okay, I'll invest it back into our recreation, and you just can just show up. Oh, fine, that, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they do that to everybody, and they're not having to spend money to make money, investing in the talent, maybe get the talent showcased, and having to, get into PR and red carpets. They just, yeah, we'll just keep putting it back into, taking a trip. It's like, why I'm taking a trip? You said we didn't have the money to do a live meet and greet, to do a live venue. So no, the venue is only less than 15 grand. Oh, what? Well, no, we don't have it. 50 grand. Oh, what? We're going where? We're going for 50 grand. All these people showing up, and they want to, use you as a lapis stone, which is a stone that is wonderful for massage. And I can only imagine. I wouldn't be able to handle it because I've been in a situation where people try to squeeze me into a position like you deliberately chose to do that. It costs more rather than do this. This would create a tree that would bear fruit. I I don't I don't play with fools, so that never worked on me. But people always like try me out anyway. It's like, gosh, you like people don't know my track record. I always get out of this kind of an agreement, like on the term points of what, who can leave and who shouldn't leave. I have no problem getting out of the situation, but the men, they have, I guess they have everything, all their belongings, in great big tubs or something, and they boxes and bags, and no, they can't just. It's not easy to leave, abusive relationships. No, the men know that, looking for a place to stay, place to lay your head. It's late at night and you would like just something warm, even if it's a warm noodle soup. Yeah, it's not easy. Then, of course, if you were to put family in the mix, children in the mix, yeah, it'd be very difficult for a man to leave, to get um, out of a situation. But then it's, you know what? Some men, like, 'cause I know for a fact, some, women have called and said, he left all his things. I don't know what to do with them. Like, does he expect me to put them in a storage? I'm thinking about putting them on the porch and, give them some time to come and collect it. And some men, like, you can have it. Like, it's yours now. I'll just get all new things. And I've heard that from plenty of women as well. Like, I'll just get all new things, you know. hmm So, I mean, like, like if you were going to do well anyway, like if you're going to take care of you anyway, I mean, like, you got to look at that. Like, people who it was no longer literally, monetarily, financially, beneficial to them in any way. In any way, they can't like move about in the industry based on things that they're doing illegally. That doesn't make any that it was not beneficial. Because it's only going to be the same circle of people. It's never. I mean, you're engaging and trying to do the same. What are you supposed to do? Tell people like whose party you went to as part of your resume experience? Like, what's your experience? Oh, parties for no pay. How much you would pay? Nothing. I just wanted to, just the experience. Okay. Anyway, so all right. So I'm going to take a small break, but then I will come back and um, hopefully the next time I go live, it'll be conversations will be lighter. I'm gonna go for more of a lighter conversation, but yeah. Hmm, okay. I'm gonna come back more balanced. I'm gonna be at peace. I'm gonna be zen. I'm gonna come back and then I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready for. I'm gonna get back into my normal lives. Not talking about the craziness of my life or anybody else's. I just want to do uplifting, transcendental readings. I'll come back in a little bit.